We are the Faroe Island group. We were tasked with creating a fly-through environment based on the words Faroe Island. I tasked everyone with creating mood boards to generate ideas. But we then had a series of meetings in which we brainstormed themes that we felt comfortable working in. After we had an initial idea of what we were going to be doing, I assigned roles to each member of the team based on their skill set and preference. Introduce yourselves.
Thomas Harvey. I was the modeller and particle systems.
I'm Gerard Kieran. I was the head concept artist.
I'm Lucian. I was the modeler and team lead, or one of the modelers and team lead.
I'm Joe. I was Joseph Milne. Sorry, I'm the texture artist.
I'm Stuart Heenan, 3D statue modeler.
Right, I'm going to hand over to Gerard now to talk about the initial concept and how we developed it.
Okay, so the brief was to create an environment, based on the Faroe Islands, but we were also given quite a lot of free range to create an environment to our own suiting it or idea, if you will. And so we all sat down, had a discussion and stuff like that, brainstormed quite a lot on what kind of themes that we wanted to play with. One of the initial themes that we had kind of started galvanising together was this kind of industrious kind of look to an Egyptian style environment, not necessarily steampunk, but more industrial revolution.
Ancient Egypt or not?
Ancient Egypt meets the industrial revolution.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of pipes, chimneys. It's just basically a massive factory world, but in the long run, with other designs that we were producing and ideas that we were coming up with, we kind of scaled it down to big iconic structures with a technological twist to it.
Okay, do you want to start talking about the production?
You want to start, Thomas, with me?
I don't mind. Basically, after Gerard focused on all the concept sketches, we've done all of them basically, apart from the statues that Stuart done. He created them himself and modelled them himself. Basically gave me, along with mood boards and research images, ideas to start following to create a lot of me and Lucian, to create a lot of the buildings and structures that are filling our environment, from small houses to big pyramids, hydro pump stations, to even small details like how they gather their power through the water. We didn't want to just make a scene that we could just say, hey, here we are, that's it, but make it kind of believable in a way as well.
We wanted a story behind it.
Yeah.
And the story was the idea that the Egyptians were so advanced for their time, and if they were about now, they'd be way more advanced than we were and run off just water as their main power source. So I
still wanted ancient Egypt to be sort of implemented in a futuristic, industrial.
One of the ways we put it to begin with was to keep retain the culture of ancient Egypt, but put it in a sort of modern day, slightly futuristic way. So Pharaoh's still Pharaoh, being all, but the rest of it's all just was kind of wee.
Yeah, no, there's the Pharaoh who's the most important thing, and then there's everyone else who's just living in the slums.
In the models, the pyramid that we've got is the centerpiece. It's got connections to everything, and then spread out the outside of the cities are the ziggurats that we've got at each side of the entrance to the island, and then at each side of that, next to the obelisk, are all the houses that all the peasants and workers live in. Still slave labour, why change?
Yeah.
It's not broken.
Basically, everyone had their own roles, but in the end, we all came together to compose it, and I think that everyone has done a good job. The last couple of days to get everything done, but we've had our fair share of problems. With the fatal errors would probably be the main one, just because the size of the environment weren't very poly conscious.
Yeah. At first, we were just thinking about a massive environment. We don't have a poly count. We could go
Yeah.
as high as the sky.
Yeah, can't
And
go
then,
higher than Maya's capabilities.
Including the mud box environment that Gerard made, and then all the textures we put on top of that, and then me being very bad with my poly count as well with the ziggurat. It was a real pain to render and try and give everyone a copy of it to save, but we got there in the end.
It's probably, I think if I had maybe managed this better and like not said that it was a high poly right from the start, it might have been okay.
He
But
doesn't put himself down, he's a good group leader.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say like, the high poly is like the main problem. Really, it's just
Computer
I think it's-
as well.
it kind of overstretched
well, it's the combination.
ourselves. Like individually, we kind of overstretched ourselves, and like when it coming up, because it was going absolutely fine right till the very end.
Yeah, it's
So
just
like,
because
when
we implemented all of it, because like it's not that like everything was fine on its own, but altogether it was just so much data basically.
Yeah, it's like we're building the city, like putting together these shanty towns and stuff like that, thinking, okay, yeah, no, a few polys here and there on a few extra polys on a model's not that bad. But when you've got maybe 200 or 300 of them, it starts to mount up and
Yeah,
becomes a bit of a problem,
yeah, it's just polys where they're not necessary and like so many shaders as well. It's like-
Yeah, the glass shader's pretty intense on the
Yeah.
render.
But at least we got your laptop to
Yeah.
to see. But yeah, so we got it done in the end anyway, hopefully. And
We're talking about textures with colour palette and all like that.
oh wait, well
That's alright.
go ahead.
That's fine. So we were saying about to retain like Egyptian architecture and stuff and try and make it look a lot more futuristic as well. So one thing I wanted to try and avoid was just making it look like Egypt does now. So everything's these all like black marble and like blue marbles and stuff like that. It's the same kind of colour scheme, but try and make it a bit darker, a bit more realistic. So you've got a kind of almost a nondescript kind of metallic marbly kind of shader going across like everything. Everything's more like a bluey, greyish, black kind of colour, rather than your typical sandstone blocks and stuff. It's almost similar to the sort of Forerunner structures that you get in the Halo games. They're all made like this sort of, they're all quite ancient and stuff. They're all very,
Like,
really whimsical.
the Blade Runner, that was part of the influence, wasn't it? Like the big
Yeah,
sun
Blade
structures
Runner,
and
some
all.
Blade Runner and stuff, and
They were quite like chromey looking.
yeah, and used a bit of modelling on the
Yeah.
Necrons in 40k as well.
Oh, yeah.
Warhammer stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so come sit down.
And it's recording.